Hello, everyone. My name is Christian. I represent Trondheim Meditation and Yoga. Warmly welcome to this lecture we've titled Spiritual Life, Many Paths, but what is actually the goal? Goal and perfection. So there are so many different paths, spiritual processes, religions and belief systems and philosophies. But do they actually bring us to the same place? Or by following these different processes, do we get different results, experiences, and realizations? And in the end, is there actually a perfection in spiritual life? So these are deep and relevant questions to us all. So therefore, we have invited our dear friend, international speaker and yoga master Balakhilya to speak on this topic today. So with that said, I will warmly welcome Balakhilya. But first, I will show you a short, brief video introducing him. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Balakhilya, and I'm a happy man. I've always been a happy man. But before, I was a happy man because of my ideal material situation. I was healthy, living on a remote Hawaiian island, surfing the best waves, no job, no obligations, free. But I wanted more, a deeper inner satisfaction, and I knew it could only come from a spiritual source. I started practicing yoga asanas, meditating, eating a vegetarian diet, studying yoga philosophies, and so on. Then one day I met my spiritual master, Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, and under his expert guidance I entered the world of Bhakti Yoga. From that time, my desire for inner peace and happiness has been increasingly fulfilled, and the smile of internal happiness has continued to grow.
All right, Christian, namaste. Thank you very much for your invitation. And thank you for your introduction. So we're going to speak on the topic which you already mentioned, spiritual life, many paths, and what is the goal? So before I begin my programs, I always offer my respects to my spiritual masters, Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami. And I speak from the platform of Bhakti Yoga. And as the title indicates, there's many different paths in yoga. But in all the different yoga systems, meditation is one of the main activities. So that's how we're going to begin our program tonight. I do this always with all my programs. And there's specific reasons I do this. Number one, I'm sure everybody's been busy today. So it helps us to slow down and relax. Number two, by doing this meditation, it helps us to understand our subject matter a little more easily. And number three, you get to learn the meditation. And then you can take it with you. You can add it to your life. And this is a very valuable addition to everybody's life. So the type of meditation that we do in Bhakti Yoga is mantra meditation. Mantras are very unique. They're transcendental sounds. And they come from the spiritual world. And because they come from the spiritual world, they bring with them great spiritual power. Therefore, when we come in contact with this transcendental sound, automatically we will receive great spiritual benefit. So this is the easiest of all meditations, but at the same time, it's the most effective. So the process is also very easy. It's a very easy technique. First, we're going to inhale through the nose slowly and gently, but also deeply. We want to take the air all the way down to the lower abdomen. And as we inhale silently in the mind, we will chant Go Ra Ang Ga. This is our mantra. Go Ra Ang Ga. When we chant in the mind, we want to chant very softly and very gently. As everybody knows, you can do many things in the mind. You can be angry in the mind. You can scream in the mind. No. Softly and gently, Go Ra Ang Ga. Now remember, all the while we're inhaling. So gradually our body is filling with air. When the body is filled with air, we begin to exhale. And then out loud we chant, Go Ra Ang and then we repeat. Inhale, Guranga in the mind. Exhale, Guranga out loud. Before we begin the meditation, we want to relax. Actually, relaxation is very important in life, but unfortunately, we almost never do it. So, to help us relax, we're going to take in a big breath and let it back out through the nose. With the outgoing breath, let your anxiety, your tension, your frustration go away with that breath. While we do the meditation, we want to listen closely to the sound and also put the mind on the sound. In other words, meditate on the sound. All right, now, when you've learned the mantra, I suggest you close your eyes because this helps us to relax more deeply, and it also prevents distraction. When we finish with the meditation, just sit quietly for a few moments, eyes remaining closed, and feel the effect. Feel that quiet, that inner peace that the mantras have brought. Okay, now everybody at home get comfortable. Whether you're sitting on the floor, you're sitting in a chair, you're sitting on a sofa, it doesn't matter. Just get comfortable and try to eliminate as much distraction as possible. Now, all you have to do is follow my guidance. So, everybody take a big breath, let it out, and relax. Now, very slowly, gently and deeply inhale and chant Gauranga in the mind. Two more times. Gora Haribol. All right, so everybody can see this is very easy meditation to do, and I'm sure your experience is very relaxing. It's an excellent way to begin your day. It's also an excellent way to end the day. Just before you go to sleep at night, you can do this meditation. But of course, you can do it anytime, anywhere. It's yours. You can use it at your discretion. All right. So, I would like to make it clear all the information that I present is based on the teaching of the Vedic scriptures. The Vedic scriptures are the most ancient scriptures. They were actually written down 5,000 years ago. But believe it or not, there is such a thing as eternal truth, eternal knowledge. So this Vedic knowledge is in that category. Since time immemorable, it has been passed down orally through a line of perfect masters, the perfect teachers. And this lineage is known as a parampara, also known as a disciplic succession. A parampara is necessary for the truth to descend in its pure form. No matter how pure the information, if it passes through an impure medium, it becomes impure. That's why this lineage, this perfect line of teachers, is vital if we want to receive the truth as it is. We are in the parampara known as the Brahma Sampradaya. And we feel very fortunate to receive our knowledge through this lineage. So this is not my opinion. I'm just passing on this eternal science. Now, the reality in the world today is this. Number one, very few people are even interested in spiritual life. This is sad. This is very unfortunate, but it is also completely correct. Very few people are even interested in spiritual life. They are interested in the material world and what it has to offer them. What can I get from this material world? And the reason is because everyone, and I'm speaking in general terms here, everyone is basically lacking knowledge. And the Vedas tell us knowledge is crucial to having a successful life. But when we speak of knowledge, we're talking about a different level of knowledge than what we get today in our educational institutions. It is spiritual knowledge. It is absolute knowledge. It is knowledge that is eternal. It is not changing every few years. It used to be true, but now it's not, kind of thing. No, this is absolute knowledge, absolutely true, always. This is what we need to know. That is why we use the Vedas as the source of our information. Now, the Vedas teach us, if you want to be successful in life, if you want to have real understanding of this subject of life, then you must know who you are. I've said this in so many different lectures I've given in Norway, so I'm not going to go through the whole detailed explanation that I normally do, because I think many of you are return listeners, and you've probably heard this again and again. But here's a unique thing. No matter how many times you've heard it, I've heard it more than that. So, it is ongoing information that we need to know. So what is the story now is we identify ourselves as being our material bodies. Whatever my race is, my gender, my nationality, my family affiliation, my age, my marital status, whether I have children or don't have children, my profession, and all these material situations, circumstances, and details constitute our identity. See, that's who we are. I'm a Norwegian, I'm male, I'm born in such and such a year, my family is so and so, I'm a professional athlete, and on and on and on it goes. This idea. But is this our true identity? See, it's not. It's just a compilation of many labels. When we go to the mirror every day to see who we are, see how we're looking today, we don't see ourselves. You see, we look in the mirror, we see a reflection of the body. And therefore, we think, this is me. But the scientists tell us, all the revealed scriptures of the world tell us, no, this is wrong. The scriptures of the world tell it very clear. You are not your material body. The scientists have proven we're not our body, but they don't get it. They don't come to the right conclusion of their experiments. Meaning, they have found in the laboratories there's no cell in the human body that lives more than 5 years. That means every 5 years I have a completely new body. See, if I look at a photograph of myself taken 10 years ago, the eyes in the photograph are completely different than the eyes I'm looking at the photograph with. The eyes have changed. All new cells make up those eyes. See, et cetera, et cetera. So, if I'm 35 years old, I've had 7 changes of bodies. But of course we know we're not 7 different people. Everybody knows I'm still me. And on it goes. We're not our material bodies. See? Now, some people, they want to go a little further in exploration of their identity. They look inside, and when we look inside, what do we find? Oh, there's emotion, desire, sentiment, feeling, will. And this is all very real. And so we therefore conclude this is the real me. This is who I really am, the internal self. But if we check this with Scripture, and especially the Vedic Scriptures, we find this is another mistake too. This is not who we are either. It's actually another material body. It's called the subtle mental body. In the esoteric circles, it's sometimes called the astral body. I know some of our viewers have heard of the astral body. So really we have 2 bodies, the physical body and the mental body. But who are we? So again, going to our source of information, the Vedas, we find that we are in a different category of energy. Now, everything is energy. And there's 2 categories of energy, material energy and spiritual energy. Our bodies, as I've stated, are material energy. However, we are spiritual energy. Completely different, completely down the category. We're a tiny little atomic-sized spark of spiritual energy. Now, these 2 energies come with characteristics. Material energy is temporary. That's why the body is so temporary. Doesn't last very long. We're struggling with that. How to keep a temporary body forever. See? You can't do it. Never works. Whereas we learned that spirit is eternal. Remember, I'm spirit. I'm spark of spirit. Therefore, I am eternal. By design, I'm eternal. We also learned that material energy is non-living, and that's so easy to see. This microphone I'm sitting behind, there's no life here. But we learned that spirit is life itself. There is no such thing as live matter. There is no such thing as dead spirit. We are the life force in the body. And as long as we're present in the body's called alive. But actually, this is not true. The body's dead. We are alive. And that becomes so obvious at the time of death. Death is when we leave the body. That's what death is. So when I, the life force, leave the The body reveals its true nature. Can't even sit in the chair. Immediately it falls on the floor. We are the life force in the body. Therefore, our true identity is spirit soul. Spirit meaning we're spiritual in essence. Soul meaning the individual spiritual sparks that we eternally are. We never become someone else, and we never cease to exist. Now, for some people, this is very depressing news. What? I'll always be me? Gee, I thought it's going to be over soon. Sorry, it's never over. However, when we learn the truth, this becomes very wonderful news. So once again, we are spirit soul, part and parcel of the supreme soul. There is a supreme soul from which we all come. We are known as the Atma, and the supreme soul is the Paramatma. Now, understanding this eternal truth, we can begin to understand life. See, our title, spiritual life, like, what does that even mean? What is life? Life is ourself. Life is our existence. See, this question of what is life has plagued mankind for how knows how long. See, if they didn't go to the source of knowledge, this is where the knowledge is. If you're out on your own, which most people are, trying to figure it out, you know, you're a contemplative person, you sit down, you're philosophically inclined, you know, and you begin to ruminate and think about, you know, truths and life, then obviously you'll have to ask the question, well, what is life? See, the scientists have been doing this forever, and they still don't know. And then the next question in regards to this idea, where did it come from? Again, on your own, you don't know. You'll never know. The scientists, again, come up with conclusions. Oh, it came from. And then, you know, they have different ideas, many in conflict with each other, none of which are true. And then the really big one that every person has to deal with, like it or not. What's it for? What am I going to do with it? Okay, I got it. What am I going to do with it? You know, and somebody's always telling us, trying to tell us what to do with your life. Oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do that. You should do this. But in 99% of the cases, they're telling us we should do something with our life to advance our material situation. Have a better material future. Get an education. Learn a lot of things about the material world. Get a good job. Make a lot of money. And then you can really have a good life. There's so many people on the planet that have done just that. They've been successful doing exactly what they were told to do, and they have an absolutely horrible life, you know? So obviously there's something wrong here. See, there's a big flaw in the philosophy of life as we know it today. If you go to the Vedas, they will tell you a completely different story. And also in conjunction with the Vedas teaching us the truth, the representative of the Vedas, the spiritual master, also is a hands-on teacher who teaches us these truths. See, when you go to school, that's where you go to learn, right? When you go to school, what do you get? Basically, you get two things. You get books and you get a teacher. And those two combined are supposed to make it so you can become educated. Well, that's exactly correct. You go to school of spiritual truth, what do you get? You get the books, the Vedic scriptures, you get the teacher, the spiritual master. And that combination will make it so you can actually become filled with knowledge. We're studying our main Vedic scripture right now, Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita, as it is the only scripture that I recommend because it's authentic, completely, nothing added, nothing taken away. That's why it's called as it is. But anyway, the point is we're studying now chapter 13, where it's talking about knowledge. The Supreme Lord is talking about knowledge. And this is what we need to learn, you see. And if we don't have knowledge, then we have the absence of knowledge, which is called ignorance. And ignorance means I'm in the dark. Darkness is referred to as ignorance in the Vedas. Ignorance is darkness. Darkness is ignorance. If I'm in the dark, life is very difficult. See, in the middle of the night, no lights, completely dark, no electricity. Everything you do is very difficult. The simplest task becomes a major thing. You see, you can't see where to put the next step. You know, you're unsure. You bump into things you would never bump into before, et cetera, et cetera. I could go into a whole thing on that. But anyway, this is back to the same point. We need to know the truth. When we talk about spiritual life, we're talking about ourself, spirit, soul, living. Our life is our eternal existence, remember? Us, the spirit, soul, living in a proper way, according to what is beneficial for me spiritually. Isn't a successful material life a life when you've gained a lot of material things? Maybe it's wealth, maybe it's properties, maybe it's fame, and all kinds of recognitions, praise from other people, and on it goes. You've achieved unbelievable things, success materially. Well, spiritual life is when you've achieved some wonderful spiritual things. You, the spirit soul, have achieved spiritual success. And what is spiritual success? When you, the spirit soul, are spiritually satisfied. When you, the spirit soul, are spiritually happy. That's the idea of the whole material trip. If I do this and this and this, I'll be happy. But it's not ever going to prove true because I'm not the material body. My material body can be draped in glories from head to toe, but doesn't make the soul happy. Absolutely does not. See, that's why it's so confusing. What is life? I've done everything. I've achieved all the things I tried to achieve. I'm still not happy. You see? Anyway, back to our topic, spiritual life is when I, the spirit soul, am following a teaching, a path, a philosophy, guided by the books, the Vedic scriptures, and the teacher, the spiritual master, to actually be successful spiritually. And that is, I am fully happy and fully satisfied. That's spiritual success. I, the spirit soul. Now, we're going to go deeper into this in a moment. But the yoga system is a system designed by the Supreme Lord himself, given to all the spirit souls in the material world so they can be successful. Now, it's known that most of the souls in the material world are not in bodies that make it possible for them to even follow the Vedic teaching because they're in lower forms of life. It's described in the Vedas, there's 8,400,000 species of life. See, most of those forms are non-human forms. Look on planet Earth, you see so many living entities, and all the different varieties of species, the animals and the reptiles and the aquatics and the insects, and on it goes, and then you get down into plant life and all the different species there and so on. So many people, spirit souls are people, so many different people but only a few in human bodies. We're worried about too many humans on the planet. How many trees are there? Are there more than 7 billion trees on planet Earth? I think so. You see, of course there are. And all these other insects, and you look at an anthill, and there's more ants in a big anthill than there is in Trondheim and Oslo combined. You see? So many people. But they're all being provided for. They're all being taken care of by the caretaker, the Supreme Lord. See? The reason we're worried about the humans is because we think we're going to use up all the resources. We're going to eat up all the food. We're going to destroy planet Earth to a degree it won't even produce food, and then we're all going to starve. We're going to pollute the air to such a degree that we can't breathe it. Well, we've already done that. Basically speaking, we're on a good start to that catastrophe. And out of all this is going to come climate change, and the Earth's going to heat up, and all the ice is going to melt, and the oceans are going to overflow, and on the story goes. Who is doing this? Who is creating this problem? Is it the deer? Is it the squirrels? Is it the rabbits out there? No, it's humans, you see. Now, when the soul gets a human birth, it's a very, very special birth. It's a birth where we have very, very advanced facilities. We have amazing minds. We have amazing intelligence. We have physical bodies that are so dexterous. We can do the most minute little things. You see, you put a little microscope on and you look at things and you can do amazing things. See things that others can't see. Big telescope, you can see many things others can't see. See, we've got this body that can do all kinds of things. Intelligence, man, what kind of intelligence the humans have been given. See, to figure so many things out. But we're not interested in spiritual use of those facilities. We're interested in material use of those facilities. Therein lies the problem. So in the Vedas, it says, we, the spirit soul, in a human body, should pursue spiritual perfection. And there are outlined in the Vedas different approaches to spiritual goals. Now, there's religions on planet Earth, you see, that we're familiar with, but we consider these a little differently than most people. I join a religion, I am a Christian, I am a Hindu, I am a Buddhist, I am a Muslim, and so on and so on. See? We see it different than that in the yoga system. We see it like this. These are belief systems that have been given, and people are attracted to this one and this one. Usually it's cultural. If I'm born in a Muslim country, by birth, I'm a Muslim. If I'm born in a Christian country, by birth, I'm a Christian, and so on like that. If I'm born in a Jewish community, I'm Jewish. But this is still not the real understanding of this religion. Religion in the Vedic terminology is called dharma. Dharma means occupational duty. And so the occupational duty for the soul, see, the soul, remember who we are, the eternal occupational duty for the soul is to advance spiritually, and the perfection of all of that advancement through different paths, reaching different levels of spiritual achievement, is to serve the Supreme Soul. But serve in love, serve in devotion. That is the whole idea of bhakti yoga. Bhakti means devotion. Yoga means union with the Supreme Soul. Union, see, but not union as becoming the Supreme Soul, but union in will, union in purpose. We're on the same page. I want what the Supreme Lord wants. Your will is my will. My position is to serve your desire. But in so doing, one achieves so much satisfaction and happiness, because it's the natural position of the soul. It's the natural condition of the soul. Now we're actually acting normally, you see. And outside of that, it's abnormal. That's why it feels wrong. That's why I'm always trying to readjust, change this, change that. You know, this will make it better. That will make it better. You know, when you've got some physical problem and many people can relate to this. You've got a back problem. Maybe your disc is herniated or something. You know, I've been there. You cannot find a comfortable position. You're in bed. It should be comfortable. It is not comfortable. So you lay in one position a little while. Oh, it starts to hurt. You roll over. This is a better for a moment. Oh, that started. You turn over again. And that's life in the material world. We're always trying to adjust our position to be comfortable, but we don't stay comfortable very long. See? And it doesn't satisfy us. So we've got to change things. But we're changing things materially instead of spiritually, and therefore we're just on a wheel, like a squirrel on the wheel. He's just running, and going nowhere. But he's always busy. He's always going somewhere, but he's not going anywhere. You see. So the Vedas say there's different spiritual paths that lead to different aspects of the absolute truth. And if you follow these respective paths, you will come to different realizations of the absolute truth. See, this is what we're talking about. Realizations, experiences of the absolute truth. So let's look at this subject, absolute truth. There's three different aspects of the absolute truth. We have to start at the top because the other two spring from the first. The top is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the supreme person. Person, get this, person. There is a supreme spiritual person. We are a spiritual person, but we're not the supreme spiritual person. We're the part and parcel. We're the child. See? We come from the supreme person. Bhagavan, that is a nomenclature that defines the person in this position of number one personality, Bhagavan. He is also known as the Adi Purusha. Adi means first, Purusha means person, it also means enjoyer. So there's Bhagavan, the Adi Purusha, at the top. Then, being the supreme person with inconceivable and unlimited abilities and potencies, he expands himself into unlimited forms, comes into the material world, and enters into the heart of every living entity in the material world. This is known as the Paramatma, the Lord in the heart. In your material body, in my material body, there's two souls. There's me, the individual spirit soul, the Atma, and then there is this expansion of Bhagavan, the supreme soul in its expanded form in the heart, known as the Paramatma. Atma and Paramatma. Paramatma is in all bodies. He knows everything about everyone, whereas I only know about my individual little situation. See? So he's the all-knowing Paramatma. And then from Bhagavan comes an effulgence. Spiritual energy is effulgent energy. It gives off a light. That is why the tiny spark, and that's why it's called a spark, the tiny spark in the body gives off an effulgence, which is known as the aura. Again, in the esoteric circles, if you operate in those circles, you know this word aura. See, it's the light coming from the spirit soul in the body. That's why when the soul leaves the body, the lights go out. That's why if you're by someone, and it could be in a human body, dog body, cat body, any body, when the soul leaves that body, the lights go out. The eyes are still there, but there's nobody home. You can see it. You can actually experience it. So The Supreme Soul, Bhagavan, gives off a supreme effulgence. And this is known as the Brahma Jyoti. Brahma means light, Brahma means spirit, light means Jyoti. Brahman effulgence. The effulgence of the spiritual world is coming from Bhagavan. It's the supreme aura, if you will. Just like the sun lights up our universe, that's the source of the light. Bhagavan's effulgence, his aura, lights up the spiritual world. Mm-hmm. Now, there's different paths to reach these three different aspects of the absolute truth. A lot of people are attracted. We call all the people pursuing these paths as transcendentalists because they're trying to transcend the material world. They're not on a material path to achieve a material goal. They're on a path to achieve a spiritual goal. So they're transcendentalists. They're trying to get off the wheel of birth and death. So many people are attracted to the idea of the Brahman effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti. And so they are pursuing a level of spiritual perfection where they leave behind all material coverings, the gross body, the subtle body, their material desires, their material attachments. They burned off their karma. Now they are, we'll just use the word raw spirit soul, that little spark, and they want to go and merge into this effulgence and become one with the effulgence. Lose their individuality, lose the conception of identity, and become merged into the absolute. This is the goal that most people, following the yoga system think is the real goal. They think this is above all other goals. Although it's number 3, they put it in a position of number 1. Let me give you a little example of this idea of merging. Here's a person takes a drop of water from the ocean. The ocean will be representing the Brahman effulgence. The drop of ocean water will be representing the individual spirit soul. So he takes from this ocean this drop of water. Now it's an individual drop. It's separate from the ocean. He even gives that drop a name. Let's give that drop the name Christian. How about that? Here's Christian. Oh, Christian's the individual. He's got his form. He's doing all the things Christian does, you see. But it's just an illusion. He's really the ocean, but he's just temporarily individualized, see. It's not an eternal individual identity. It's a temporary individual identity. So now Christian goes on the big journey to merge. So he goes and jumps back in the ocean and merges with the ocean. Where's Christian? No more Christian. He's gone. It's just the ocean again. He never was Christian. It was just an illusion that he was. You see, this is their idea. But the truth is that individual spirit soul is eternally an individual spirit soul. It's not a drop of water from the ocean. It's an eternal individual person. When that individual person following the path of Ashtanga yoga, Kundalini yoga, impersonalist yoga, we call it, Eightfold Mystic Yoga System, these are all basically the same. Following that path, which is a very difficult path to follow, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because we don't have a lot of time, but by following that path, one becomes more and more detached from the body. He learns how to, properly keep the body fit so that first, let's go back to the beginning if we want to just look at it a little closely. He has to give up all his bad habits. See, he can't be doing all the things he shouldn't be doing to to be successful in this spiritual journey. See, so he gives up his bad habits. He adopts certain, activities, regulations, rituals, practices, and so on. One of those is the step 3 is bodily asanas, hatha yoga, which is so popular in the world today. What's the point of that? To make it so the body's in the best shape it can be. So he can sit in meditation for long, long periods of time. His knees don't hurt. His back is not uncomfortable. He can sit perfectly erect and basically be beyond the body. The body's now not in the way. And then he practices pranayama to control the mind more. Also beneficial for the body. It's incorporated with the hatha yoga system. So now he's dealing with the obvious. You see, the physical body, the mental body. He comes to pratyahara, which is controlling the senses. Obviously, uncontrolled senses aren't going to make it so you can focus on the spiritual truth. See, the spiritual journey that you're trying to embark on. So he controls the senses completely. You see, he doesn't allow the eyes and the ears and the nose and the tongue and the genital just to enjoy all the sensual pleasures, because that takes his consciousness there. It's not where he's trying to go. So he controls the senses. Very difficult, but he can do it. He can achieve it if he's very, very dedicated. And then he can concentrate, because now all those obstacles to concentration are kind of at bay, and he can very easily sit for a long period of time concentrating on something. Could be a candle flame, a sunrise, a sunset, whatever it is. He's concentrated, This is called dharana. And then he perfects that. Now he can just really focus on one thing. And this is where meditation comes into this process. Now he can concentrate to the point that he can meditate on what? The Lord in the heart, the Paramatma. This is actually true meditation. Meditation begins when the object of concentration is the Supreme Lord. For this yogi, the Lord that he meditates is the Lord in the heart. This is called dhyana. And by doing so, he becomes completely absorbed in the Lord in the heart. It's such a wonderful experience that he enters into a trance known as samadhi. You see, and that's his goal. And eventually he can merge into this Brahman also out of that truth. And then you can keep going. Now we've got Brahman realization, understood a little bit maybe. We've got Paramatma realization, also understood a little bit maybe. Now we can talk about Bhagavan. See, Bhagavan is on the top, remember? The impersonalists, we call them, their conclusion is God is not a person. The absolute truth is impersonal, this Brahman effulgence. And when the Lord has come into the material world innumerable times and taken a form which can be perceived by the material eyes, it could have been Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago, Lord Rama millions of years ago, or various other incarnations, Varaha, and on and on. We learn all these things in our Vedic teaching. That this form is a product of the Brahman effulgence. It's like that drop of water that came from the ocean. It's not an eternal form, it's a temporary form. The Brahman took this form for a time and did whatever that particular incarnation did as part of his pastimes to help humanity, and then went back and merged back in to the ocean, so to speak, of light, and no longer exists. You see, there's no more Krishna. He's gone and merged. There's no more Rama. There's no more, Varaha or Vamana or all the different incarnations. They've all come, done what they did, and gone back and merged into the Brahman effulgence. You see, incorrect. Absolutely not true. See, this is a fabricated philosophy that sounds good to a lot of people, and people can convince people that, yeah, I like it. I think, yeah, I can understand that. See, but it's not true. See, Bhagavan is eternally Bhagavan, the supreme person, just like we're eternally the child of Bhagavan, the servant of Bhagavan, the individual souls that we are. So, the perfection of all perfections is when the spirit soul actually enters into the final journey of Bhakti Yoga. One may go through the experience of Brahman, maybe goes through the experience of Paramatma realization, and progresses past those and comes to Bhagavan, the journey to lead me to perfect, harmonious, loving relationship, surrender to and service to Bhagavan. Or he may start right from day one, pursuing the goal to become the perfect, loving servant of Bhagavan. See? This is Bhakti Yoga. So whether you come to Bhakti Yoga through other ways or you directly, now you're on the path that leads to absolute perfection. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, the question is asked to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord himself, which is more perfect, those who are properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship your unmanifested form? See, Krishna answers, he who focuses on, meditates on, places his mind on my personal form is considered by me to be the most perfect in yoga. Remember, yoga is union with the Supreme. So this is the Supreme Lord himself giving the final answer to the question. Krishna's opinion is the final opinion. There is no opinion superior to the Supreme Lord's opinion. See, and he says, those who worship my personal form, devotional service, always fixed on me, mind fixed on me, intelligence engaged in serving me, is the most perfect in yoga. So this is how we should pursue our spiritual journey. With the absolute knowledge of what is the most perfect, why would we want to go somewhere else? See, when you're not really achieving what you're trying to achieve, and that's truly happy and truly satisfied. See, that's what you're trying to achieve. I want to be truly happy, truly satisfied. Brahman effulgence and merging into the Brahman effulgence does not produce that. You see, I have the understanding I'm eternal, Sat, eternal. Chit, I have knowledge. You see, I'm spirit soul. I'm experiencing my eternality. I'm experiencing my eternal existence and so on. I have knowledge that material world is not my home, that there's no happiness for the soul here, and on and on and on. See, I have a lot of knowledge, but I have no ananda, and that's spiritual bliss. See, ananda comes from love, loving service to the Supreme Lord. I don't have that in the merged condition. I don't even know I'm an individual. How can I have love when I don't even know I exist? See? So, therefore, it's incomplete. You see? And again, the Paramatma realization, it's a partial realization. See? And it's based on awe and reverence. There's no real service to Paramatma. It's just being amazed by the beauty of, the grandeur of Paramatma. You see, but there's no actual serving, no loving relationship yet. So if I don't spend however many lifetimes it would take through these processes, I just take straight to Bhakti Yoga, I get all of the benefits of Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and much, 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 much more, unlimitedly more. That is the goal, see. So that's what Krishna teaches in Bhagavad Gita. He teaches all these different paths in Bhagavad Gita, and he talks about karma, he talks about the material world, he talks about the soul in the material world being on the wheel of birth and death, he talks about the suffering of the soul in the material world, he talks about all those things, and then he concludes with, but the final conclusion of all of this is transcend all of these material attractions and attachments, enter into the spiritual world, enter onto the path of Bhakti Yoga, follow the teachings of Bhakti Yoga, follow the regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga, and you will develop a desire to know me. And once you develop that desire to know me, you will follow that desire to me. And all the information you need will be given to you by me, through the Vedas, through my spiritual master representatives. You see, the representatives of me, the spiritual masters, and through the Lord in the heart. I will encourage you from within your heart. All of this I will bring to you if you want it. But if you don't want it, then I won't bother you. I'll leave you alone. And you can have the philosophy of atheism, which is the fastest growing religion on the planet right now. You can be the most determined, convinced atheist, if that's what you want to be. But it's going to take you further and further away from the goal of being happy and satisfied. So the world is in absolute turmoil right now because nobody's happy, nobody's satisfied. And everybody's got their agenda on how to achieve that. See, but it's not working. It's getting worse and worse because we're getting further and further away from the goal. See? So this is real spiritual life. The first step is to have a desire to even go this direction in life. If you don't have that desire, it's not going to happen. Other people trying to push you, tell you, no, do this, do this. If you don't want to do it, it's not going to work. It's like telling a person who's addicted to smoking to quit smoking because I want you to quit. But he doesn't want to quit. Good luck. Never will it happen. Now, if the smoker decides he wants to quit, maybe he gets a diagnosis of lung cancer. Well, that's a little late in the game, my friend. But anyway, maybe he'll say, okay, I'll quit now. Well, like I say, should have thought about that, long ago. But the point is now he may be successful. Or maybe he just understands this is stupid. It's not any good. It's no good can come from this. And the little pleasure I get from it, although I'm addicted to that pleasure, is definitely not worth the risk, When he buys his next pack of cigarettes and he sees 50% of all people who smoke die of smoking-related causes, it might make him think, although most people it doesn't. They just turn the packet over. They don't look at that side. That's how it is in the material world. We're not very intelligent. We're very, stupid, you see. But anyway, back to the point, if you want to pursue spiritual life, if something rings the bell that sets you off, wonderful. Then you got to decide which path to take. I've just briefly outlined different options here. If you just go join a religion, that's oftentimes, I'm not saying this for all people in all cases, but for most people, it's just a sectarian belief. And we start thinking, I'm this and they're that. I'm Christian and they're something else, Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever. We're the right ones, they're wrong. You see, unless they come and join our team, then they'll never make it. And they're thinking the same thing about you. Oh, you're on the wrong path. If you should come over here and join us, then you'll be successful. See, these are areas of division and areas of conflict. The teachers of those, the founding, let's just say, the teachers that these belief systems, and again, we'll call it sectarian religions because that's what it is, they were not that. They weren't that. Jesus was not a Christian. Christianity didn't even exist. He was a lover of God. He was a bhakti yogi. What did he teach? Love for God. What did he teach? Serve God. First. And then we'll talk about, love your neighbor and do good things to other people and all. But first, love God. You see? Forgive others, as God forgives you. Ask God to forgive you as you forgive other people. All these perfect teachings of Bhakti Yoga came out of Jesus' mouth, you see. He said, man cannot live by bread alone, but all the words that emanate from the mouth of the Lord. The devotee of God is the mouthpiece of the Lord. The Vedas are the Lord's mouthpiece, you see. So, Jesus was the perfect Bhakti Yogi teacher. Muhammad was a perfect teacher of love for God, you see. And on it goes. You know, if you look back, what did the teachers teach? They taught love for God. That's what they taught. Now we've sectarianized it, put it in different groups, have divisions and conflicts and wars and, hate and, all kinds of atrocious things. See, because we missed the message, you know. If you want to follow Lord Jesus Christ, then do what he says. Do what he says to do. If you want to follow Muhammad, do what he says to do. You see, if you want to follow these teachings of truth, and follow the teachings of truth. The Vedas are absolutely full of information, you see. And if you choose to follow that, you can become the perfect yogi. And all yogis are happy. All yogis are satisfied. All yogis are non-attached. All yogis are thinking about the welfare of other people. All yogis are always spreading their love, their mercy, their care to all living entities. And those who would recognize that and make the decision to accept that, the yogis take them in with open arms. Because yogis are lovers of God. They are his representatives. They are very, very dear to him. See, this is stated so clearly in chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita. Those who are doing these things are very, very dear to me. And that's the whole idea. See, to be very, very dear to God, you know. The goal is not to see God. The goal is for God to see me. He sees everybody. But is he pleased when he looks at my life? Is he happy with my life and what I'm doing? See, because what does he want from me? He wants me to be happy. All loving fathers want their children to be happy. He sees me throwing my human form of life away, doing crazy things that are going to create future pain and suffering and pain at the moment. You see, and he goes, don't do that. See, don't do that. That's not a good idea. But he gives us the freedom to do it if we want. See? So this is spiritual life. This is a big, big picture of spiritual life. You decide what you want to do with your life. You can't not do something with your life. It's you. It's eternal. It does not go away. You can't kill it. You can't do anything with it, you see. But make decisions that'll make it so you suffer or you have a good result, you see. You have to do something with your life. And if you make it a spiritual goal, that's the purpose. If you make it a material goal, you miss the point. Okay, time has flown. See, I hope something rang a little bell. If it didn't, maybe it will later. See. So we're going to end with a very easy meditation. This meditation is called Sankirtan. Sankirtan is congregational chanting, singing the mantras. So you already know the mantra Gauranga. I'll add one more mantra, Hari Bol. So the mantra will be Hari Bol, Gauranga, or Gauranga Hari Bol, or just one of those two. All you got to do is listen. The idea is I chant, you listen, then you chant, and I listen. We have a small group here with me. We're known as the Chintamani Choir. And when I chant, they will listen, and then they will respond, and you can chant with them, okay? And with all the meditations, you want to relax, and that also means try to relax the mind. See, don't even think about what I just said. Just relax the mind, focus on the mantras. Then later, maybe you'd like to think about what I said. Okay. Gauranga. Everybody. Gauranga. 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 Goranga,
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 Harebo,
Haribo,
Harebo,
Haribo,
Harebo,
Haribo,
Harebo,
Haribo,
Goranga, Haribo, Haribo,
Goranga, 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 Haribo,
Haribo, Goranga,
Haribo, Goranga,
Goranga, Haribo,
Goranga, Haribo,
Haribo, Goranga,
Haribo, Goranga,
Goranga, Haribo,
Goranga, Haribo,
Goranga, Haribo,
Goranga, Haribo,
Goranga,
Goranga, Goranga.
Haribo. All right, that's a wonderful meditation called Sankirtan. And we do it a lot. We do it every day. You see? So it's a way to come together, break down all barriers, all divisions. Doesn't matter where you're from, what your so-called religion is, what your education is, what your race. Now, it doesn't matter. None of that doesn't matter. Just come together, chant the mantras. See? We're all God's children. We're all servants of God. And that's the bond. That's the equality. That's where we can all be on the same path, so to speak. Okay, so I got another program very soon. So I have to leave everyone now. Christian, thank you so much for your invitation. And we hope that, we'll meet again soon. I think next week we can do something too if you want.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Balakhilya.
Yeah, great. So again, everybody out there, just remember your spirit soul. You're not the material body. Think about a spiritual pursuit in your life. But chant the mantras, whether you're interested in all of that, detailed stuff and so on. That's just as it is. But anybody can chant the mantras, you see. Do your Goranga meditation, Christian and his friends have online programs you can join, where there's these meditations and other philosophy and a lot of opportunities. So, yeah, if you're interested, there it is. Okay, like I said, I got to go. Thank you very much. Namaste, Haribol.
Thank you so much, Balakhilya, and thanks so much to all of you joining. Hope you found it interesting. So the next chance you will have to see and hear Balakhilya is next Saturday. This will be a questions and answers, a follow-up on this topic, and there we will have a chance to ask your questions and have your Balakhilya answer your questions. So you can sign up on this website, yogameditation.stream. And there you can also write your questions, or you can send in your questions by email. So thank you so much again, and bye.